Hey guys, how are you guys doing? This is Mr. Arete here. So in today's video, I'll be touching on an intermediate level topic in options trading. So the topic that I'll be sharing will be option spreads. So the agenda today I'll be speaking on will be mainly these four pointers. That is, what are option spreads in general? Why do we use them? When do we use them? And the types of option spreads strategies that they are in the options trading world. So firstly, what are option spreads, right? So basically, what an option spread is when you enter a buy and sell option trade simultaneously at the same time, right? They can have different strike prices, but they must have the same expiry date. So what I mean by this is if you enter a call spread, for example, right? Essentially, you're buying a call and you're selling a call at the same time, correct? With different strike prices, but with the same expiry dates. And similarly, in that same light, for put spread, you're essentially buying a put and selling a put simultaneously at the same time with different strike prices but with the same expiry dates. So why do we want to use option spreads? First and foremost, option spreads are a core part of my options trading toolkit, and therefore it's important to know why we're doing it. The pros are we reduce the initial premiums that you require to enter the trade, and therefore we reduce the maximum risk that we're exposed to, right? So essentially what this means is if you just enter a buy leg, for example, the premiums will cost a lot more as opposed to a spread where you add on a sell leg to reduce the overall net debit from the trade, right? So for selling, you reduce the option buying power required, right? So if you just do a single sell leg, right, the option buying power required is usually a lot. So now that you add on the buy leg inside, it reduces the overall option buying power required for your account. Now, who should be using option spreads? Generally, people with smaller portfolios, right? Less option buying power available in their accounts, and people who generally enjoy strategies with lesser risk exposure. Overall, it's a very good tool for all option traders, regardless of skill levels. Now, the limitations of option spreads is simply this. Instead of enjoying unlimited profits from single legs, right now, because of the sell leg for the buying or the buy leg from the selling, you essentially cap your gains, and that is all. So, when do we want to use option spreads? So, that is also a very important question that we want to answer, right? Well, let's say from a buying perspective, when there's an attractive buy call or buy put that you want to enter, but the trade is perhaps too expensive, right? The premium is too high, and therefore the risk exposure to your account is not within the risk management methods that I taught. So in this case, you can use an option spread, right, to reduce the maximum risk simply because there's a sell leg now that offsets the premiums from the buy leg. So let's say instead of having to spend $500 of risk on a trade, you now only need $200 to enter the same trade, and that is amazing. Or from a selling perspective, when there's a sell call or sell put trade that you really want to enter, but the option buying power required is too high and the risk is unlimited, right? Especially if you have a small account, this is really not a good idea. So what you can do is add on the buy leg, right? So when you do an option spread, you reduce the max risk because the buy leg helps to reduce the option buying power required to enter this trade. And while in the trade, it helps to hedge the option buying power being eaten up, even when the stock is not going in your favor. So these are actually very important things to understand on when you should be using option spreads. On to the types of option spreads. So in the options world, there are mainly four different spread strategies, and I'll be going through them with you in general now. So recall there's a call spread and a put spread, right? And generally in the markets, when the market is bullish, it just means that people expect the stock price to go up. And when the people say that things are bearish, it just means that they expect the stock prices to go down. All right, so for each sentiment, right, whether bullish or bearish, there's a call or put spread that you can do. So let's talk about the bullish sentiment. So for bullish sentiment, you can either do a bull call spread, right, or bull put spread. When the sentiment is bearish, you can either do a bear call spread or bear put spread. So I wouldn't go into details on how these different spreads work for this video, but just know that there are these four spread strategies that you can deploy for your options toolkit. Also, right, for each strategy, you're either being debited or credited. So being in debit means for that strategy, you have to pay a premium, right, to enter the trade. And credit just means that when you enter the trade, you're being credited and basically you're getting paid as you enter this trade. So the choice of strategy, right, really depends on four main factors in my opinion. So that will be what is the total risk that you're exposed to in this strategy? What is the option buying power available in your account, right? This will be very important because if your option buying power is too low, it does not make sense to be entering a sell strategy, right? So next will be your preference, whether you want to enter a debit or credit strategy, depending on how you want to manage your account and your risk exposure. And finally, the time horizon that you have for your trade. Awesome. Now that we have covered the agenda for this video, hope you guys have benefited. And if you really want to learn more into details on what each strategy means and how the mechanism works, I'll be creating more videos on my YouTube channel, so be sure to subscribe to this channel. So thanks for watching everyone. Appreciate you guys. And if you like my content, please follow me on Instagram at Mr. Arate. And I share a lot of helpful content to help you get started and really hone your skills eventually as a long-term options trader. Catch you guys in the next video. Bye.